What is going on, everybody? It is Bush Fishing, and we have returned. Now, a lot of you guys have been commenting. You guys want the boat building videos, so I cleared out this weekend, even though I really probably shouldn't have. And we're going to be working on the boat. And the big thing is we're going to be trying to finish that baby up in 2 days. Not necessarily fully finished. We just want to get stringers done, deck on, fuel tank mounted, rigging tubes in, shit like that. And then I'm just gonna have like a couple hours at a time to finish up the rest. But that's the goal. Now, we have a full team today. I'm leading my men in the battle today. This is Mikey. He has some fiberglass experience. And in the back, it's Spanky. You guys know Spanky. But we're headed to the shop now. We already ran on an inspection this morning at 6. It's 8:30 now. Probably get to the shop about 9 o'clock. And we're gonna be glassing all day. So we'll see you guys when we get there. All right, everybody, I am fired up today. This is exciting. So for those of you that don't know, here she be. This is my 74 Robalo 230. So from the outside, it still looks pretty good. We're gonna sand all this. The exciting part is this. So right now, Grant's vacuuming out all the stuff that kind of collected in here from it sitting. After that's all cleaned out, we're gonna pull it in the shop, and I'll kind of give you an update of where we're at. We have the rear stringers in. We need to do front stringers, bulkheads, and then we're gonna get fuel tank mounted and kind of get the rigging set up for that at noon. We're gonna go pick up the stuff for it. And then after that, we just have to do rigging tube, and then we're ready for the deck. That's all we're gonna do underneath. So that is exciting. I'm gonna help these guys start cleaning it up. We'll get her pulled in the shop, and we're gonna get after it. All right, everybody, so game plan. Mikey's gonna start on the center console. We're gonna mix up, we're gonna use Total Boat polyester fairing compound. I don't really like this stuff because you have to catalyze it with the regular MEKP, but it is nice. It's really easy to spread out. It's much easier than using like the 3M filler. And I'd rather use the fairing compound on this just because you can see I did this little area and the imperfections are so thin. It's just because of where I didn't roll out well enough with the peel ply. I'm gonna show him how to mix this up. He's gonna start on this, and hopefully by the end of the day, this thing will be ready to be sprayed. Grant is gonna be up in the boat. He's gonna clean up where we're gonna lay up those front stringers. We're gonna get those laid with mat while I wait for the 1708. And then we're gonna start on the other shit. All right, so this is a Spectrum Color Bondo board. I love these because you just tear the sheets off and start fresh every time. So, for all you guys saying, oh, I need a real catalyst dispenser, look at this. Alrighty, Total Boat fairing compound. All right, we're gonna mix up 8 ounces of this. So I'm gonna put 8 ounces in a cup, catalyze it in the cup, and then put it on the paper, and then he'll be able to spread. This filler, I'm gonna catalyze really hot. All right, so we're gonna do this hot. So for it's 8 ounces, so like 240 cc. I'm gonna rip 5 cc of catalyst using my dispenser. 5 cc. I'm gonna pre-mix it with this. Hopefully Mikey doesn't start on fire. The issue that I have with this is it takes a decent amount of time for it to go off. Normally with filler, like 5 minutes, 20 minutes, you're ready to sand. With this stuff, it was like taking a full day. So we're gonna be catalyzing this hot, and hopefully he'll be able to get another layer on. All right, so we're pre-mixed a little bit. We're not done mixing, but we're just gonna get it out of the cup. Now that we're on the paper, I'm just gonna mix the shit out of it. I like to get a nice pile and then kind of spread them out. But essentially, we'll take some of the filler, and we're gonna not necessarily skim, because we need some thickness on it, but just kind of liberally apply. I like to push down on it just to get it to fill the holes and then put a little thicker layer on it. This does shrink. This is the process. Get a nice smear on it. When I do it this way, I'm not putting a whole bunch of pressure on it, but I'm holding it down so it can grab more filler. And then I'm just kind of following it up. Putting on a thick amount, and then just kind of cleaning up the edges. And you'll see where you have holes. This will leave the pinholes, but get enough on there, fill in the voids, The corner I'm not so worried about yet because we can clean that out, but I do that at the end. But just get a shitload on there. I just try and go over like the seams, but you'll pick some of it up doing that. I'm not worried about having these edges here because they're all gonna get sanded down, but I just wanna make sure all my low spots are filled. This is the really bad edge up here. Oh, it's getting hot in here. So we have the port front side of the stringer put in. Just tabbed that in with matte first. Like I said, I'm waiting on my 1708. So for now, we're just tabbing everything in with matte. You get a nice fillet on it. And then we're gonna put 1708, a shitload of it on top. And that'll give us our strength. 1708 already has matte on the underside. It's 0.08 ounces of matte and then 17 of the biaxial. So we're just adding a little more matte to it, help it bond. So we're good there. Over here, Mikey has been getting after it. So he's almost done fairing the whole thing. As you can see, we got a bunch on there, trying to just get a decent amount on it. So then when we sand it back, which theoretically we could have sanded all the glass back and then not done this, but then we'd be dealing with low spots and thin glass. So this way, all the low spots are getting filled in and all the pinholes and stuff. We'll sand this whole thing back, and honest to God, it looks really nice. So we might, I mean, I'm sure we're gonna have some pinholes that we'll see when we do the gel, but we might be spraying this thing, and that is gonna be exciting. But right now, I'm gonna let the port front stringer tack up a bit, and then we're gonna do the same thing on the starboard side, get after it. Alright, so we're going to start and we're going to try and get a deck piece set up. So we're just trying to figure out how we're going to measure it to get it the most accurate so we have the least amount of work to do on the outsides. So we have, it's a 4x8 sheet, we use some of it. So we're going to cut it at 37 inches, just this is the section we're going to do. And we marked our center line. What I'm thinking about doing is up in the boat, we'll use the laser to mark a center line. And with the laser, we'll measure from the outside to the laser, and we'll do like port and starboard, and we'll transfer those measurements here like every 5 inches or so, and that'll kind of give us our shape. Don't know if this is gonna work, but we're gonna find out.
Good thing I recorded all this.
Now we can tell them that it works, and that we'll do the rest of it. All right, so these are little pieces that I made. They're routed out to have a nice bevel so the glass lays on them. And these are gonna go in the seam of the stringer, and then we're gonna glass over the top. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna laminate these and get them stuck on there so they're at least, they can hold themselves up on the stringer, and then we'll lay the 1708 over top of all these. But this is just to get them to bond over the seam on the stringer. So we got 4 of these, we're gonna lay these up. We're catalyzing our resin. For this, I'm gonna do 2.5% because I want these to go off kind of quick. And I'm just gonna quick lay these out and then shove them on there. Obviously we have one piece cut out here. That's what we started on yesterday. The process we use is we have the laser here. Hopefully you guys can see that it's on the center line of the plywood. So that's the full width plywood. We mark the center line. What Grant's doing right now is he's marking 5-inch increments on the stringer. We're going to use those 5-inch increments to take a measurement every 5 inches from the outside of the boat, and then we mark it at the center line. We transfer that to the new sheet of paper, and every 5 inches we have a mark that we follow and cut out, and that's what's getting our width here. So that might have been user error, that little gap right there, but for the most part it's real tight. So he's going to mark 5 inches on both sides, and then he'll take the measurements, I'll cut it out of the wood, and we're just going to get this whole thing decked and then take it all out, lay up all of our 1708, which is laid out right here. These are all 10-inch strips with 2 wider ones. These are going on the top caps or over the top. And these 2 guys are gonna wet these out, and then we'll lay them all up. And after that's done, all we have to do is get a fuel tank, rigging tube in, and then we can put the deck back on the boat. All right, so we got our second piece cut. Woo-wee. Following the same process. This sheet was a little bendy. It's fresh, but once we'll weigh it down, and then when we glass up the sides, but gaps, they're a little bit off, but that's easily fillable. It's not like a big 1-inch gap. But you can see our laser line that we're using. Once we scoot this over, it'll line back up. I think that just moved a little bit. But that's how we're doing it. We're using the center line, measuring out. The next piece is going to be difficult because we have that little cutout area where the fuel tank hosing goes. But for the most part, this is good. And keep in mind, we're not done with the stringers yet. Someone's going to freak out saying there's exposed wood. By the time we're done with it, there won't be any. But we're just getting all these deck pieces cut out so that when I'm alone, I can put a deck piece in, glass it, and then kind of just do one a day, make progress that way. But I don't know if you guys have seen in my old videos, there was a rear like storage area. There were 2 side compartments and then a big live well or fish box going in the middle. And we're not putting that back in. Eventually I might build something in the back, but for now we're gonna deck it all the way to the transom. And with that, there's so much room back here because I'm pretty sure my console ended here, or maybe up a little bit, and then you only had a little bit of room to walk back there. Now it's all going to be wide open, so you can walk all the way around. You can fish out the back, and then obviously the front deck is just massive on this, but we're going to keep going. We're going to get the rest of these deck pieces cut out. I think we got 3 more. The last one's going to be super small. And yeah, we'll get this whole deck put in. The rear piece, it's going to be decked all the way to the transom, but there's going to be a little 6-inch tray that's 2 inches dropped in the back just to collect water and stuff, and then that'll bail out the back of the boat. So all the water from the deck, this is pitched, so it'll all pitch to the back. The water will just go out the back of the boat. So we could rain on this, do whatever, out the back. So this is getting exciting now. Now we got a new floor. And what was great about this is it's gonna be straight. Our old deck was all wonky and it was that ugly green. So now this is gonna be glassed and sprayed. And then eventually we'll put the soft grip on it. All right, let's get back to it. Okay, so we're doing updates. Camera died again, but we got 3 sheets in, so 12 feet of the decking done. We got this bump out pretty good, so I'm happy with that. We had a little on that side, so there's a little gap there, but that can be all filled in. It's still not even bad. You can see how tight these are, and they need to shift around a little bit to seat in better. But now we're on to the bow section, which should almost take us to the top, and we can do the nose piece out of scrap. But she's starting to look like a boat again. Okay, so we're dealing with dead batteries and shit today. Got some iPhone footage, but I figured a time lapse of us making measurements and stuff probably wouldn't be too cool. Take a look at what we got here. Obviously we have just this little nose piece and none of this is finished, but all of the deck pieces, the big ones, are cut, and I'm actually very happy with our gaps on the outside. What I'm kind of thinking on doing is each of these pieces, taking them out and laminating them outside the boat. Then when we put them in, we'll glass up to the outside. We'll grind like 6 inches of the gel off, tab them in on the outsides, and then we'll glass over the seams in the middle and get her to lay flat. But I could not be happier. We finally have a deck back in it, and this is so much better than the deck was originally. This is all flat, pitched backwards, pitched the right way. So right around here, behind this rod holder, the center console and T-top will be, so we'll have all this room for now. We're gonna glass this and have no seats up here, but eventually we'll have our seats put back in. And then the back, as you can see, where these two goobers are, is all the way to the transom. So that's gonna get glassed into the transom, and it's just gonna be beautiful. Now that we got battery again, I'm gonna set you guys up on time lapse. We're gonna take all these boards out after we label which one. I mean, we'll figure it out, but we'll label them, get them out, and we're gonna start wetting out 1708 and start laying up the rest of these stringers. So by the time that cures, we can do the rest of the stuff, and then we'll be ready to put this deck in. All right, everybody, so we're gonna finish up this video. We made a lot of progress. I wanted to get 2 videos, but we got absolutely donkey-dicked by a couple things yesterday and even today, but we made really good progress. So we took the floor out of the boat. Obviously, you guys saw those clips. We have the entire deck cut out. So the big thing was we got the front stringers in, and they're fully glassed in with 1708 for at least the front 2. All we have left is the rears with 1708. Once we do the rears with 1708, we'll tab them into the transom with 1708. And then after that, it's pretty much drop the fuel tank in. I have to order a fuel pickup and then pick up some hose for it just for doing the vent lines, doing for the fill. And then I'm gonna make some little, pretty much L brackets that are gonna get glassed to the floor. So the fuel tank could still come straight out, but it's gonna stop it from shifting. To stop the fuel tank from going left and right in the stringers, we're gonna put some spray foam in there on each side of it just to kind of hold it in place. Again, it's all fully removable, but with the plastic tank, we shouldn't have any issues. Once all that's done, we have the PVC for the rigging tube. I need to order some 3-inch P-clamps because what we're gonna do is hang it on the outside, and it's gonna pop up back here. And then all my rigging is gonna come through for the E-Tex. Then after that, I can start putting, even right now, I can start putting on the front pieces of deck, and I can start glassing those in. So what I'm thinking for that, it's gonna be a whole separate video, but I'm gonna take each panel separately and I'm gonna glass them outside of the boat, and then I'll drop them in, and then all that I'll have to do is tab them into the boat. I think that's gonna be the best way rather than carrying my resin up and doing all that, but we're gonna use 1708 for that. And the 1708 will hold it, even though it's not supported fully, but we're also gonna put pour foam back in the outsides of the stringers and then probably in the front section as well. So that's exciting. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully you guys saw that I have a catalyst dispenser. And yeah, if you want any ST Marine merch, first link down below, stmarinewi.com. She's back. Pretty soon she's gonna be out on the lake because my old lady's pestering me that she wants to go out on the lake. So that's kind of the big rush. Now that we have these, like this obviously took 2 days, now that this is done, I'm gonna be able just to chip away at the rest of it. Mikey fucking flipping buttered that center console over there, so I'm gonna be able to sand that. And then once I sand that, it looks like it'll be pretty good. Start spraying gel on that. I believe the console is gonna be full white, and we're still trying to figure out what color we're gonna paint the outside of the boat, but the interior is gonna be white, and I'm kind of thinking on doing the brown with the black edging for the sea deck on the inside. It's either that or gray. Leave a comment down below what you guys think I should do for color schemes, but pretty soon this old girl's gonna be a 2025. All right, so we'll see you guys in the next one.